What's up, what's up, what's up, humanity? It's your girl, Uni, your goddess Uni from Sacred Walks by Uni, CEO and founder of Sacred Walks by Uni, which is a beautiful healing foundation, okay? We offer Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, what I was saying was we offer several different healing modalities. We have yoga, meditation, massage therapy, and Ayurveda nutrition. So if you're looking for something to ease that mind, body, and soul, sacredwalksbyuni.com is where you need to go. And that rhymed. I actually pretty liked that. That was pretty cool. So welcome to my first podcast ever, Sacred Talks, where we're going to have many conversations with the universe because my main gift is receiving messages from the Most High. And today I want to talk to you about creation. Yes, creation is magical, 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 magical. I want to talk about creation, humanity. Humanity. Are we where we want to be as a collective? Are we where we want to be as individuals? Are we happy with what we have been creating thus far? So, to understand creation, you have to take it back all the way to the beginning of humanity. So, whether we have the non-believers in a house, whether we have the believers in a house, creation, the beginning of time, humanity. Yo, how did all of this begin? Why are we here? Why are we here now? Right? So we began in some beautiful garden, right? So they say. Adam and Eve, right? When we go back to creation, where it all began with the breath of the Most High, right? Where it was creating, where it created us, where we was given a free reign to create whatever we wanted to create within that garden and within that field. But we were interrupted. We were interrupted by something, some opposing force, and we all know what that force is, right? Yeah. The devil, who we call the devil, who we call Shaitan. So, and going back to the beginning of creation, beginning of the story, why we are here today, why I created Sacred Walks by Uni, why I started this podcast, which is so important, is to save humanity as much as I can. It's to help bring us back to creating with authenticity, right? To creating self-expression, free reign from who we truly are, and understanding us and our true purpose on this earth. Going back to that garden, right? So we were interrupted, right? We were interrupted and we were tested. We were told to bite the apple, which was what? The knowledge of tree. The tree of life. Knowledge that holds and possesses everything that we do on this earth today, which possesses the material world, which is ruled by Shaitan itself, and why we're in the position we're in today. So, I'm telling you to kick all of the issues that we have today, whether you're dealing with depression, anxiety, obesity, anything dealing with the 7 deadly sins, it all stems back to your creation, the beginning of time, you knowing thyself, to save yourself, right? You need to go back to knowing who you are. You need to go back to creating through heart and through whatever it is that you want to display on this earth, but it has to have purpose, right? So let me go into some notes for a second. I have some notes I want to go into. So let's talk about creation for a second. So whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Jew, whatever religious denomination you choose to put yourself in, or if you don't even put yourself in any type of religious denomination and you choose to just say that you're spiritual, right? Whatever it is, at the end of the day, we have one Most High, right? Listen to this. So when we go back to one of the holy texts where it all began, right? These holy stories, these holy books, these holy texts, when we talk about the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, Quran, Holy Torah, they hold stories, right? They hold guides. They hold things, knowledge for us to understand where we began, to understand where we are now, and where we want to go. So when you go back to scriptures like Philippians 4:6-7, it says, encourage us not to be anxious, but to be present. I request to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard our hearts and minds, right? So peace, being able to be peaceful, right, will solve a lot of our issues here on earth. And as a PhD health psychologist student, I'm going to tell you that it has been said and it has been known that creation, being able to create, right? Being able to create helps ease mental illnesses. Okay, right? You have to be able to create. And a lot of us are not creating. So you're not at your authentic self. Authentic self for humanity is being at peace and being able to create with love, light, and happiness. That's why Sacred Walks by Uni is here today. That's why I'm here, and I pray, and I'm so grateful that I have this platform, because I have also battled with depression and anxiety. So this is a platform for me to be able to express myself with authenticity, for me to be able to connect with like minds, because 98% of humanity, we're all dealing with depression and anxiety. Okay, so our natural state of being is peace and to be creators. We walk in thy image. We are creators, whether you want to realize that or not. Your purpose on this earth is to create through authenticity. Why are you here? So I created Sacred Walks by Uni. I created a healing foundation, right? A healing foundation that offers healing modalities at a cheap rate. Okay, so I mean, literally, veterans can walk in, right, and get a 1 hour full body massage for $40. That's two $20 bills. Most people would take those two $20 bills and buy a pack of cigarettes, bottle of alcohol, a bottle of wine. That's equivalent to 2 bottles of wine. But you're literally able to walk in and to receive healing modalities at a cheap rate to help you ease your mental illnesses, right? Because it all goes back into your cellular DNA, which is going to be another topic that we talk about. So creation was important to me, right? So we're going to dive a little bit more deep. Let's get a little bit more deep, a little deeper than the Philippians, right? So we're going to talk about creation and mental health. Why are we here today? Humanity, take a look around. I believe and I know for a fact that we are causing most of the problems that we have on this earth today. Why are we paying for electricity and water? It's because we have caused these issues for ourselves. We allow a puppeteer, we allow the opposing force to take land and to take possession over things that is rightfully ours. We leave our life, and we leave everything our heart desires in the hands of governments and people that are selfish and people that are still confused as to what their God is and why humanity is in a position that they are in now. So it is important to understand that everything that is going on now, you have created. So when we talk about creation, manifestation, you created this. We created this as a collective, the high bills, the high groceries, everything that we're going through now, the violence, the human trafficking, which all stem from slavery. We're going to have a topic on that. I mean, this is ancient. This is human trafficking goes deep depths of ancient times. This is biblical, right? What I mean by biblical, this is very old. So creation, humanity, we created this, and now it's time to create something new. Oh my God, we have to create something new. All right, we need more of a utopia. So first thing first, what I realized to be able to help in creating that utopia for the Most High and the angelic realm is to first deal with myself. To first kick whatever addictions, whatever sins that was weighing me down from my true purpose. I had to deal with that. I had to face that shit head on. Excuse my French, but I had to face it head on. It is something that you all are going to have to face head on individually. It has nothing to do with your partners, has nothing to do with your friends, nor your family. It's all about individualism, right? So that we are able to harmonize collectively correctly. So, with saying that, let's create something new. And you're not going to be able to create anything new or fun sitting behind someone's desk, working someone's 9 to 5. So I'm going to keep it real. So if you're looking to kick that 9 to 5 job and you're looking for something more purpose-filled, again, SacredWalksByUni.com. I'm your goddess, and I'm here to elevate you in many ways, financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever it is. You have to figure it out, but it's not working for someone 9 to 5, because most monopoly businesses work for Shaitan, work for the devil. So I know a lot of y'all gonna resonate to this, because a lot of you are chosen ones. You hear the calling, you hear it, but you're scared to answer. You're scared to answer. And the only way to escape your depression and your anxiety is through creation, and you creating through authenticity. I mean, movies, books, music. Music is one of the biggest creative outlets out there in the world. I mean, I don't know no human being who doesn't dibble dabble into music. I mean, the devil itself dibble dabbles into the music, and when you go deep into the Quran, you'll hear a lot of stories, and there's a lot of passages about Shaitan and the whistle, the sounding of the whistle, and certain type of frequencies that it likes to listen to, and how it governs, how it uses certain type of frequencies to govern mentals and to enslave certain mentals, and vice versa. You have beautiful angelic frequencies and hertz that are able to free the mental as well. Shout out to Sacred Walks Universal Talk YouTube channel. I have many frequencies on there that you can subscribe, like, and follow my station. Beautiful frequencies that I created that will help the mental release from depression and anxiety. So depression and anxiety is foremost and has always been the devil. So when I was talking to you about how we were interrupted in that garden, we were pretty much stopped from our true destiny, and that was to live in a beautiful utopia, which was the Garden of Eden, right? The Garden of Eden, which was to live into a beautiful utopia and to just create and be happy. But we were interrupted by such an evil, such an opposing force, right? So this opposing force is still here today. This opposing force is governing the governments, is ruling over the governments, ruling over your secret societies. When you get back and you talk about the skulls and bones, when you're talking about your Yale University, Harvard universities, how they have been embedded deeply into secret societies, and how most of them are ruling the world. But I'm going to tell you this from my knowledge and my experience, 39 years on this earth. One of the biggest conspiracy theorists, I'm going to tell you, most of it is true and most of it is hogwash. All right, I'm going to be straight up with you. You have to be able to decipher that. You have to be able to look into a conspiracy, look into knowledge, look into wisdom, and you have to be able to decipher that with common sense. So I think that's what's going on a lot with us, humanity, a lot with humans right now. We collectively are in a rabbit hole. So we are too much concerned with the hogwash versus the reality of the conspiracy itself. Are we being ruled? Yes. Are we being stopped from our true creation and our true purpose on life, on this earth, on this planet? Yes. Let's talk about it. Are we living in a matrix similar to the movie The Matrix? Absolutely. Yes. We are behaving in a behavior of deaf, dumb, and blind, where we are not living in the present moment, where we are choosing to be more slave-like and robotic versus authentic, free, and true to self, right? This is an issue. This is why we will remain here low vibrational. This is why we will remain 3D. And right now, as I look down to my notes, I just flashed 111. So that means that I'm supposed to be doing this podcast today. My angels are very happy in the things that I am speaking to humanity today. And why I chose to do my podcast solo, because energy, I need to solely be in my own energy when I'm receiving certain type of messages. So when I told you that creation and mental illness goes hand in hand, and it went back to the beginning of time when God, who we choose to call God, Prana, the Holy Spirit of all spirits, the energy of all energies, when it created that garden, its pure intention was for us to live in pure and happiness. But we were interrupted by an opposing force that does not like God. We know what that is, right? So I want to talk to you about, I want to name a couple of people, specific people that were in the Bible and in the Quran, prophets, wisdom holders, peacekeepers that came before us that were also dealing with mental illness. First one I'm going to speak about is Prophet Isa, who is mostly known on this earth as Jesus, which is not its rightful name. Jesus is in representation of the sun god Helios, Zeus, which is rocks in sides with the opposing force, Shaitan. But Isa, Prophet Isa, when you get into the story of the 40 days, 40 nights, he was solely speaking of his mental illness and how he was battling his temptations and his addictions in his time on earth as a physical being, right? So when you read about 40 days, 40 nights, and he said, I was tempted 3 times by the devil in the desert, that I needed to escape to the woods in solitude. I needed to free my mind. I needed to understand what was going on around me. He had to find a place of solitude, right, to help with his mental illness. So we have been dealing with this since forever. And these prophets have been coming to us with messages and stories. This is why we have the holy books and the collective stories in all of these ancient books, right? So we got Prophet Isa, 40 days, 40 nights. Let's kick it off to Prophet Muhammad, which I believe an entire Christian denomination does not believe in. You're fools if you don't believe in Prophet Muhammad. But anyway, Prophet Muhammad also dealt with depression. To read about his life, there was one specific story where he said that he was so sad at one point in his life where he had to take a walk, go to the mountains, and he had to just sit for days. And it was days and days and days and days that he had to sit, again, in contemplation, meditation, into figuring out what was going on around him and why he was being burdened with such a purpose. All right. So again, going back to the chosen ones, I, myself, prophets who came before me, and there are many other chosen ones who can't escape their mental illness to get to their true purpose. All right. So let's go back. So we're going to talk about Moses. Moses also dealt with mental illnesses. The burning bush, when he talked about burning bush and the angel Gabriel coming to him and speaking to him of his purpose and his divine purpose that God wanted him to deliver his people, right, from Ramesses, right, at the time. That was a heavy burden, and there was many nights where he was ridden by anxiety of that burden. He was fearful of it. He did not know how he was supposed to deliver a whole land of people from something that was so powerful, something that he known for so long, a brother to him, right? Because we all know that Moses and Ramesses were brothers. So we have Hannah, who longed for a baby, Samuel, 111-20. Elijah, who reached burnout, so he had mental burnouts. You had Job, who lost everything. You had David, who felt all the feels. So when you're feeling all the feels, anxiety, so when we talk about anxiety, when you feel such an overwhelmment and you feel like there's no escape, right? Anxiety. This is Psalm 6:13. Jonah, who wanted his life to end. So we were already dealing with suicide. We were already dealing with mental illness. We were already dealing with issues with creating from authenticity, because again, after we were interrupted in that Garden in Eden, that specific day, our entire destiny was stopped by the fallen ones. So when we say the fallen ones, I do not call these things angels, because they are not angels. So in the Bible, they call them fallen angels. They are not angels, because angels and jinns are created as two separate beings. And we'll get more into that too, as a totally different episode on my podcast. I mean, this podcast is going to go deep, 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 deep. And now we're starting from creation. And this is explaining why we are here today as a collective, and why so many individuals are dealing with depression, suicide, anxiety, self-hate, because it was the devil's intention to put us here and to keep us here, because that is thy enemy. Humanity is a being. Shaitan is a being. They're jinns. Angels are beings. You have a hierarchy. You have a regime, spiritual regimes that y'all do not understand. When you go home and you lay down at night and you say and you talk to the mist of your surroundings, your ether, when you talk in the midst of your space, you're praying. Whether you're praying to your ancestors, your angels, your devils, because you have a big following of Shaitan. We have a big following of Shaitan. You have a big following of the Most High. And that all again ties again back to creation in the beginning of why we were stopped, right? It cannot stand us because it knows that the Most High loves us. It was we as humanity was one of the most precious creations that God has created, because we loved and respected so much, right? We were given free will. Jinns, they were not. They were made of fire, right? They were not given free will. They had to obey certain type of rules, certain type of universal laws, and they wanted to be us so bad. So with envy and jealousy, which is one of the biggest sins of all sins, it's disgusting. We're going to talk more about the 7 deadly sins and why the violence is here on earth is because of that. So it was jealous of us, and it stopped us. It had a plan and had an intention to go into our garden and to say, hey, humanity, I'm going to make sure that I keep you from your true destiny and your true purpose. And that is to live and create with authenticity, with love, happiness, and light. So it stopped us. Oh boy, and is it winning? Yeah, it has a big following. It's winning. Most of its following sits high in the government. You have very little that sits with Most High that's in that government. I'm going to be honest with you. The chosen ones, the spirits that have been chosen to be warriors for the Most High, to battle these type of opposing forces, we're not going to do the government. I have my master's in political science, and I literally blacked out as soon as I became more conscious of this world and what was happening around me. And I'm going to tell you why I backed out. I backed out because there is no winning in politics. I backed out because it is an illusion. It is fake and it is not real. These people are making a mockery of you. Yeah. So the nation that they choose to call black, the nation that they choose to call black, the only thing that they have to put in your face literally is twerking, music, low vibrational stuff. And you're happy. You're giving them the vote. You happy. You're right where you need to be. To the nation they call Hispanic, dang. The only thing they need to give you is oh man, a little bit more entryway into what they call the dream of all dreams, the home of all homes, America. Let me tell you something. You people are confused. One of the biggest and most ancient, most melanated nations of all nations are the most behind right now. There's a certain type of elevation that the Most High has been trying to get you to get back to with these messages through the prophets. And from ancient times to where we are now in 2024, you are still choosing to not listen. So I'm going to leave you with this. So we're going to wrap all this up, right? We're going to tie all this together. First episode, Sacred Walks by Uni, Sacred Talks, creation. The importance of creation and where we need to get back to get us out of the position we are in today. You can no longer depend on Shaitan. You must choose a side, and you can't straddle a fence no more. So there's a spiritual warfare going on. So since the beginning time of that garden, that first intersection with Shaitan till now, you have to choose a side. It has always been a spiritual battle between good and evil. And a lot of my sisters and brothers, a lot of the chosen ones are stuck right now, and they have chosen the side of Shaitan. But you know that, and you hear it, and deep down inside, with that little whisper from the Most High, it tells you, and it's explaining to you your mission. It is a big one. It is one that you should not fear. And it is one that is trying to prepare you for, but you need certain type of preparation, and that preparation is through meditation and lots of prayer, because throughout your journey you will be attacked. You will constantly be intersected. Since just like the beginning of time in that first intersection, you're going to have people that's going to be possessed to keep you from your true purpose. And we're going to talk more about that too. We're going to talk about life as chess. We're going to talk about the pawns that come into play. We're going to talk about the kings and queens that come into play. We're going to talk about your mission, your purpose. We're going to talk about how to get to our utopia as a collective. And we're going to go back to our ancient modalities, yoga, meditation, and massage therapy, and Ayurveda nutrition, and most importantly, creation. You have to create. You have to tell your story. You have to know who you are outside of your mom. You have to know who you are outside of your dad. You have to know who you are outside of what you grew up of knowing, your churches, your mosques, your Jewish temples. You have to know yourself outside of the music that your parents chose to pump in your heads. You have to know yourself outside of the foods that your parents chose to feed you because they didn't know any better. It is now up to you to elevate yourself to a brand new generational movement, a brand new generational wealth. And I pray to God that you follow me, you subscribe, you like, you comment, you do whatever you need to do, but you get to this channel and you listen, because our time here on earth has gotten darker, and it will continue to get darker until the chosen ones choose to warrior up. And this election is even more of a funnier one. Stay tuned for more comment on that. I love you guys. Stay well. Stay peaceful, because again, that is our true nature. Please create something. Go grab some paint. I don't know, journal. Go write. Go make some music. Go film you a little short documentary about yourself, rising from your depression, rising from your lower self into your higher self. But do something. Stay well. Salams and namaste.